Welcome back to the Realness Radio podcast. We in this bad boy again. What we talking about this week, man?
Okay, so today we are revisiting the Logan Paul Mayweather fight, which, you know, we've been keeping up on heavily.
Yeah.
And we just want to know what the fucking consensus is.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
we
saying?
got some opinions and we want to know.
Also, I'm dropping a new a business, and I hope y'all support.
Please do.
Yeah, keep listening. Thank you.
Check us out after this. You're going to hear all the fun. Peace.
I'm for real. I'm for real.
Realer than real.
You're now tuned into the Realness Radio podcast.
I got you stuck off the realness.
Realness.
Y'all feel me? Y'all feel. Y'all definitely feel.
And we're live.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we've been gone for a couple weeks.
We've been on a hiatus.
We were on a hiatus for a little bit.
Yeah. Things
back,
happen.
y'all.
Life happens. You know what I'm saying?
Life exists. We're back. We're back
We
in
are
action.
Back. We're in full force.
The realness is here and to stay and back for this Sunday's episode. I can't wait to present it to y'all. I kind of want to get to a question, man,
Yes,
that we left off on. There's going to be a couple subjects we're going to go over today, but I want to leave off on where we were at last time we spoke, and you were supposed to go on a spiritual adventure. What's the haps with that?
Yeah, so I spoke about that on our last meeting in the hopes that I was going to be able to come back, give everybody a great, little dissection of what happened.
Right.
But ultimately what happened was the Friday before the actual ceremony went down, I was given a message by the person who actually introduced me to the ayahuasca ceremony and everything like that. He said that it wasn't off, but a lot of the main group that he has had like really close ties with,
Right.
and that have been going together for the past so many months, 4 or 5
Right.
months.
The people
know what
you
I'm
want to
saying?
go with.
Yeah, it's like a core group of people
Right.
that they all got together. He told me that a lot of them were not attending that ceremony, and that they were going to be waiting for the next one, or possibly even the one after that, which may take place in Tucson. Another thing was that one of the shamans that the dude was very comfortable with and was like, he's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the one who really not promotes it, but like, he's the headmaster. He's the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He
chieftain.
wasn't going to be there. So like, once I got all this information, it suddenly didn't feel as right, as
to be there.
as I wanted it to be. And I was actually okay with it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to hold off. It doesn't feel right. I'd rather go in a comfortable, because this is not like
Right.
It's not like a.
Well, let's recap.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
were you going to do for maybe people who might have just tuned in now?
Yeah, so we were going to do an ayahuasca ceremony in Hermosillo, Mexico. And there's an area in Hermosillo outside of the city, which is on the reservation. And they're all cool with it. They have, 30 plus people at a time in these like camp areas where they conduct the ceremony. You basically, what I was going to do is I was going to arrive on Saturday, spend the day fasting, getting to know the people. And then about midnight that night on Saturday, the ceremony begins. They give you the ayahuasca and they play, medicine music all night. And in the morning, if you're inclined to do so, you can also smoke 5-MeO DMT, which is the Bufo alvarius, the Sonoran desert toad, where you can extract the venom out of its glands and dry it and smoke it. And you're also, so it's not just ayahuasca, it's also a DMT trip.
Wow.
That morning. And then they do like a big breakfast for everybody. It's kind of like a communal thing. So that's what was going to go down. It's still in the works. I have not planned, I don't have plans to not do it.
Right.
I'm just kind of waiting for the good time for it to happen. And the fact that it didn't go down is fine with me also, because it's just kind of like one of those things where it's it calls to you.
Right.
If it doesn't feel right, if it wasn't meant to happen,
Then
that's
it won't.
fine. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? That's fine. So
So would it be more apropos for you if you felt like it was in Tucson, or would the trip be a plus or minus if it was in Mexico next time
okay,
again?
so I think I would. I think with it being in Mexico, Hermosillo, Mexico, I would. Maybe this is all in my head, but I would see the actual ceremony as something more grand, because I guess I can relate more to Mexico and my people, and it'd be awesome to go down there
Right.
and do it in that setting.
Right.
Um,
In the native
it,
land, if you
but it's also like 4.5 hours away.
Right.
And this was my biggest fear of the whole thing, was that I was gonna go up there Saturday morning fully fasted, meaning I haven't ate anything,
Right.
haven't eaten anything, and then go into an ayahuasca trip, possibly 5-MeO DMT, going into Saturday morning, and then all right, the ceremony's over, like, all right, now let's get home another 5 hours from Mexico,
Right.
which has its own obstacles. You got the border, you got
Right.
pit stops, you got all these things. So that was like my biggest fear out of everything. So I think like actually being in Tucson, where it's like more accessible, would be awesome and more convenient.
Right.
But at the same time, I also think like the Mexico trip would have been more, I don't know, like more
Something, right?
something. Yeah, like
Right.
more like flavorful. I
Right.
guess. You know what I'm saying?
Felt right,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
back
So
home.
I'm actually not opposed to either. I'd like to do the next one, but there is also a lot of preparing for the ceremony, because when I found out that it was going down, I completely changed my diet. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing any other extracurricular drugs
Right.
that I do normally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I started eating more of a plant-based diet. I was meditating. Like, I got into this clear monkish like headspace where I was like, I'm trying to get the most out of this experience. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's kind of the rough part too, where it's like,
Did you feel like changing your diet would just get you closer there?
well, so like the thing with weed, right? If it stays in your system quite a
Right.
long time, right? Like up to 30 days for heavy smokers,
Right.
easily for me and you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it is in your system, but that can inhibit the reaction that you get from the ayahuasca because it's in your system,
Right.
and you can maybe have nothing happen to you during the ceremony. So that was kind of one of the things where it was like, I want to take this seriously. I'm like into it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I want to do la dieta. I want to do the whole thing full
Right.
on. You know what I'm saying? So I need a month before I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that it, kind of changed up the day before was I was very bummed. I was very like sad about it, but also at the same time I was like, it just wasn't meant to be, and we'll do it again. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go.
It can
for
always come back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy. So, I mean, that kind of brings me into my next question. I see that you and a buddy of ours, communally, have launched a new business.
Yeah.
Kind of around that subject. Tell me about
Yeah.
it. Tell our listeners where they can get it, what it is.
Yeah. And I thank you for
Break
bringing
it-
this up.
break
Actually,
it-
yeah.
break it
So
down.
me and a buddy, his name's Tristan Tricon, my
Yeah.
little hippie buddy. Rashad knows him
Shouts
very
out.
well as ever. And so he actually got me into. He let me know that it was possible to grow mushrooms on my own at my own volition. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's great that it worked out like that, because I've always grown weed, and I've always had people like, oh, you grow weed too? And then we kind of bounce ideas back and forth
Right.
with each other and stuff like that. And then I got into this realm, and it all really, I think, started with like a conversation. Like, how do we get, like, mushrooms are getting big. They're basically, to me, they're the new medicinal marijuana. They're
Right.
going to be used in a medicinal way. And probably within the next 5 to 10 years, they may even be, decriminalized, and they may be in that sense, similar to medical marijuana. But we're like, how do we kind of get into that game and kind of teach people things? And I think I just threw out an idea to Tristan one day, and I was just like, hey, but why don't you sell grow kits? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I learned. I would go on Amazon and I would buy like the things that I needed to grow the mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? And little did I know, like, that must have sparked something in him to where he was like 4 months later, like, hey, you're doing this. Because I was really getting into like wanting to do mushroom tinctures and doing that kind of thing. And he's like, well, do you want to partner up and like, let's get this thing going? Sure enough, we did. Got a little, put a little kit together for anybody who's interested in growing their own mushrooms, medicinal, gourmet, or magic. You know what I'm saying? And we put that together. It took us about 4 months to create the product and get all of our, stuff going. And we launched about 2 weeks ago. And today, actually, I just sent out our 2 first shipments.
Nice.
We got our 2 first purchases today.
Kick
So we
ass.
were super, super stoked. But the company is called Mushrooms.
Okay.
And it's a full-on grow kit that if you're interested in growing your own mushrooms, any kind of mushrooms, it doesn't have to be magic. It doesn't
Right.
have to be medicinal. There's a way to do it with our kit.
Right.
It comes with a full-on instruction guide. And yeah, if you purchase things, you can be growing your own medicine or food at your house.
So
And
what
it's
comes in the kit?
What's that?
So what comes inside the kit?
So the kit contains the main box of the kit is your fruiting chamber.
Okay.
And that's where you grow all of your mushrooms.
Okay.
Within that box, we also have a what's called an SAB. It's called a still air box. And for novice or beginners, you know what I'm saying? Aseptic technique is very important. So you need to be very clean because their mushrooms are very susceptible to fungus and mold and stuff like that. So if you're not clean, you're going to contaminate your grow and it's not going to work out. You're not going to get anything. So the SAB basically acts as a mitigation to the contamination. As you move up more in mycology, you can grow. I'm sorry, not grow, but you can have like bigger setups that filter out your air and do all these things. But that's not for the beginner. This
Right.
is for somebody who's just starting. So it has that. It also has grain that we've sterilized. It also has gloves and a spray bottle. Basically, all the little accoutrement that you would need for growing your whole setup.
Right.
You don't have to go to Home Depot. You don't have to go to Walmart and go to Lowe's.
So everything
and go
you
all
need
these little separate things.
is in the
Everything
kit.
is in the kit.
So from the rooter to the tutor, I can
Exactly.
start
Yep.
or buy this kit. I can start.
The only thing that you need is the spores for whatever strain of mushroom that you want to grow, and those are easily obtained off of the internet. Spores are not illegal. Grow kits are not illegal, but when you combine the two, it can get a little.
You're working in the gray area.
Yeah, you're working in gray area. So you just got to be safe. We're doing it for a market who wants to do it on their own. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And we're trying to spread it like mushrooms should be spread. They should be
Right.
accessible to everybody. They're not. It's just like marijuana. We
Right.
love marijuana, right?
Yeah.
It has medicinal value.
Right.
It's good for everybody. You can so are mushrooms tenfold. You know what I'm saying?
So, where does somebody find on the internet spores? Is there like a websites that offer these type of things, or is this something I have to jump on the dark web and get a VPN?
So I'm probably not going to push any like specific
Right.
company right here, but
Right.
there are definitely reputable companies that sell spores. There's maybe 2 that I really only fuck with.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have just jumped on Amazon and bought like lion's mane spores.
Just
you
to
know what I'm
see?
saying? But there's a couple places out here that have really reputable stuff, and they're very clean. But it's up to you to kind of like test that out. Like
Right.
if you do your grow and you find that a lot of your shit got contaminated, maybe And that's the real gray area, because it could be like, oh, maybe my technique, my aseptic technique is not as good as it could be. So or it could be that spore was just not developed correctly. Like it has to be clean. It has to be
Right.
clean. So find the good, reputable source that has, good spores and they're known for it.
So how long does a process like this take to grow?
So that's what I loved about this process, because I like growing cannabis, right?
Right.
And that cannabis, period of getting from veg to fruit to, or veg to flower, it could take you probably up to 6 months, depending on how big you want your plants. I mean, you could
Right.
really just do it anywhere, but like this process takes about 2 to 3 months at the most.
Nice.
The quickest I've ever fruited a mushroom was probably in about 5 weeks. So like you're getting a lot quicker
Right.
than that, and it's pretty simple. You could do it in your closet at your house. You don't need a big setup. You just need a light and maybe certain temperatures and a spray bottle.
So in comparison to people who are cannabis growers or plant growers or people of that guild,
yeah.
how much work is it to do something like this?
Yeah, so the work, I think it's like anything. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when we were talking about your fish tanks earlier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have a day where it's a full-on motherfucking day. Like
Yeah.
a day or two where I'm taking this shit out. I'm doing this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like that in a sense, where it's like the effort is more condensed into certain periods. It's not a effort that you put into it consistently over a long period of time. It's like, okay, today is this day, so I do this, and that might take me 2 hours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's good. Once that's good, I wait for about a week or two, and then once I get to that next step, all right, I have to do all these things. And then it's like, okay, I got to sacrifice 3 or 4 hours to making sure I get this stuff ready for the next period. And then you do it again 2, 3, 4 weeks later. And then, so it's more of a condensed effort, but not over a long period of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you do have to pay attention to it, and it's not something that you want to just kind of like willy-nilly kind of
It's not a set it and forget it.
Yeah, it's not a set it and forget it, but like there's very pertinent times in each step of the process.
All right, so let's get to the two big questions that the audience is going to be asking. Where can I get it, and how much does it cost?
Yeah. So, right now we're live on eBay and Etsy,
Cool.
and you can go on to eBay and Etsy and look up My Shrooms, and that should just pop right up. You know,
Nice.
it should be right there. And we just launched a website. And that's going to be myshroomsgrowkits.com. You can order off of that website directly. But for now, I think the best would be Etsy or eBay. If you're local, I have no problem. If you're interested, I have no problem with you hitting me up directly. Prolific Pappy _ and I'd be happy to get you a kit, and I'll even deliver it to you. You know what I'm saying? But
Kick
like,
ass.
we're just a small company. We're
Kick
starting
ass.
out. Like, I feel like we just want to get the name known. We want
Yeah.
everybody to be able to do this in the leisure of their own home.
Right.
Because in the next 5 years, yes, if you're working with magic mushrooms, and I don't want to promote this as like an illegal thing, you can do oysters, you can do lion's mane, you can do all these edible mushrooms. Like for the connoisseur who wants to have their own food,
Yeah.
absolutely, this is a great thing.
Well, it
If you
seems
wanna
to be
get in-
like a small town but like a small industrial grow, or a place that if you live in a
Right.
big city,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a lot of room, this is the kind of thing you want to do.
Yeah, and it's low cost. Like comparatively, once you know how to do all the things that our instruction guide guides you through and how to grow these things, once you have that base of knowledge, you're going to be able to do so much with that. You will never even have to go back to our kit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
you'll know.
this kit is like a launching point for you to be able to start your own kind of little. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Really is what it is. It's a hobby, just like growing weed, just like anything like that. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
How much does it cost?
Oh yeah, the cost. So we did start it off kind of at a high price point, but we felt like it was a little bit intimidating for people. We have put a lot of work into this. Like there's been a lot of man hours, and we've really put a lot of time and effort into it to make sure that it's a kit that you can enjoy and also like be successful with.
Right, and have everything you need.
But we have dropped the price. It's down to like 160 right now.
Okay, nice.
And again, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, you don't have to go to 4 or 5 different places.
Right.
You don't have to like spend the time to do all the shit that
Is required.
we did. You know, you don't have to make all the mistakes that we made in learning how to do this. Like we've compiled a box for you that gives you an instruction guide where you can take it to a fruition at a very short time, and that is great because, you know,
So
most money is spent in learning how to do it.
very much so.
Yeah.
So how much does spores cost? So you know, with like a $200, I can be off to the races, right?
Yeah. So like spores are very, very inexpensive.
Nice.
You can get a whole syringe for about $10,
Dude.
and that syringe will probably get you like 2 to 3 months worth of use.
So less
You know
than
what I'm saying?
$200, and I'm off to the races.
Oh,
I'm in the game.
absolutely less than $200. No, 150 plus the spores, and you're off to the races.
You're in the game.
Yeah.
Dude, sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's really great. We want to make sure everybody knows how to not use, but like take advantage of.
What's around them?
Well, yeah, like medicinal wise, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? If
Right.
you're struggling with this is my whole thing, and I
Right.
don't know if Tristan is on the same thing, but like,
Preach it to us.
but dude, like mushrooms can enhance your life.
Right.
They really can.
Right.
They will if you're struggling with something like. And I'm talking on the magical side a little
Right.
bit, you know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? But like they will open your eyes. If you don't use these things just to go party,
Right.
just to go like have a good time, if you're looking to do some introspective work on it, like
This is
they
the way
will
to go.
teach you something. And I'm all for that because
Hell yeah.
mental health in the country is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you have some opinions on that, but like
Completely.
you know,
Well, you know, tell them again where they can get it.
mhm.
What's the product again?
Yeah, my shrooms, and you can find it on eBay and Etsy.
Perfect. I think that's
yeah.
definitely something everyone should check out. I'm interested. Odds are, guys, I'm going to have one too. So I'll be checking that out. And for our listeners, you guys should definitely go check that out. And hopefully I can get this man to maybe record a small commercial and we can run it here so that you guys can
Absolutely.
hear about it
Mhm.
and have a one-stop shop to making yourself some own mushrooms, depending on what kind you want to make. But you have the option to do all of it with less than $200. So I think you guys should take advantage of that and hit up my buddy here on Instagram at Prolific Poppy,
Yeah.
and he'll get you set up. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to jump into our last topic. We're pretty all sure of what it's going to be. What up, y'all? Let me tell you about another product I really like. This new thing I just found called Tappy. If you're an artist, if you're a business person, if you're anybody with anything that you want to share with people, maybe you're a designer, get this. It's a new business card. It's electronic, no paper, no thousands of cards in your pocket, just one. Anytime anybody asks, hey, what do you do, man? Pull it out, tap it on their phone. All the information's right there. Tappy. Go to our website at therealnessradiopodcast.com. Go all the way to the bottom and look at Tappy. Press get one and you can order yours right now. Trust me, it's something you're interested in. Tappy. And we are back from commercial time. So, of course, we're going to talk about the one thing that you guys know, if you're a continuous listener, that is going to be itching in our hearts. And that is
I
Logan
know, and I don't even know.
Paul and Floyd Money
Oh, my
Mayweather.
God. Yeah.
And their bout to the top.
Yeah.
Bout to the top. Okay, so
Did
we
you-
haven't got a chance to talk about this.
Did you watch the fight?
I didn't. I refused. I refused to pay for it.
I know. We talk about it so much, and I refuse to pay for it and watch it myself.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. I knew how this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
It was gonna be such the fight that it was.
Yeah.
I could just watch it on Twitter. So I'm watching people live tweet. I'm getting little videos here and there about what's happening. So
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm all in, but I'm not paying for that shit because I knew what kind of boxing fucking bout this was gonna be.
Yes.
And I apologize to all you folks out there who paid the 50 bones for it. But
You should be mad at yourself, not Logan Paul.
You should
okay?
have known what this was going to be, okay? We knew that this, and we've talked about it a decent amount here, but we knew that this was going to be a fight that was about the paycheck. This was about the paycheck. None of it was ever about who could be a contender close to Mayweather, who is outside of the boxing guild. It's never been about that. It's never been about this kid's like on the rise. It's about the money.
If Mayweather is doing it, it's for the money.
It's for the money.
Dog.
I mean, not only have we had the tweets that definitely already confirm that, you know what I mean? His comments after the fight, you know, saying that like, yo, legacy can't feed my kids and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, not like you guys are going to go broke anytime soon, but I get it. You know, but it's like, for anybody who thought that was going to be a fight that was going to be like, oh, man, we're about to see this professional, like, nah, bro, you were just about to see a dude go out there and, like, do some weird shit. And then Mayweather, you could just see on his face, he's smiling.
The whole time.
He's
dude.
not
For 100 mil, yeah.
100 mil. He's not even shooting his shots real hard. You know what I mean? He's kind of like throwing them up there. And then I'm going to point this out. I've been talking about this for the last couple days. For the people who are naysayers and who are on the Logan camp, guys, humans, the evidence stands for itself. The numbers are out there. The punches thrown were out there. When you're looking at something that it says he landed 7 out of 77. He landed 4 out of 49. He's just throwing melees. None of it's landing.
Even that one video where it shows him going off, he was like throwing
Awful.
punches like a high school fight video.
Well, see,
like,
thank
just,
you. I
know
said
what I'm
that.
saying?
So the one video that we really have when it's like, okay, the bell's about to ring, it's the last 10 seconds, you know what I mean? And he has this like melee that he's trying to come in, these furies of punches. But it looks
I'm
like
just the bigger guy.
Yeah,
like,
it looks like he's throwing.
he doesn't hit one.
No, and it looks like he's throwing punches outside of the bar. You know what I mean? Like he's outside of O'Malley's trying to fight a dude. You know what I mean? And he's still not. Like that's the thing is you didn't hit him with any of those. Like most of them, they're coming all to the side. They're not real punches.
No form.
No form. You're just throwing. You're throwing. You're having a brawl outside of a bar. You're not throwing any smoothness, and it did nothing.
Yeah, and so back to the money point of this, right? Because it obviously it's all for the money,
Right.
But like, what easier promotion is there for Mayweather versus somebody who already has 20 million followers?
Yes, and is willing to put his whole purse up.
You know what I'm
against it.
saying? Like an amateur boxer who has always wanted to fight Mayweather in his life is so crushed right now. He's
Right.
just like
Real boxers.
even boxers that have been fighting for the last 15 years and their whole life was been like, I want to fight Mayweather. Yo, your shit was tossed out the window when you realized that all you needed to have was 20 million followers to
And a
fucking
big mouth.
fight. And a big mouth. Like that's the new age of
That's it.
marketing boxing. You already have the following to do that. It's not necessarily gonna take over MMA. It's not necessarily gonna take
Right.
over boxing, but there is now a new avenue
Right.
where YouTubers and who anyone who just has
Outside.
a significant following who
Right.
wants to get in boxing. So do you know the real Tarzan, right?
Yeah.
The real Tarzan, the dude that fucking
Yeah.
wrestles with tigers and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
He's doing a fight, and I think I sent
Really?
you that on Instagram.
I think you did, but I
he's
didn't realize
fighting
it.
some retired MMA guy or something like that.
Of
but
course.
he's using his money for charity. But like he has that avenue now. Like
Right.
it's opening up. Like that's the new thing right now.
Well, there's a thing with populism, right? We had a populist president. We have populists like we as consumers here in America have proven that you could throw this garbage at the wall. We knew it was garbage, and millions of people still who just tuned in, paid the money, paid their $50
Yeah.
to know the outcome to this fight. He wasn't a boxer. He wasn't going to go up there and take in any kind of technical fight. The thing that he could have done that would have made it, I mean, the least bit close for him is if he played calm and actually shoot his jab, shoot his straights, do his combos, and get in there. Because anybody who knows,
he's not that technical. I don't.
he's
think,
not.
though.
But and he's not. But the thing about it is, anybody who's watched a Mayweather fight knows that in the later half of his career, he's not going to knock you out, dude. It's just not going to happen.
No.
The thing that's going to happen though is he's going to play points with you.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna,
that's all it is.
He's
points.
he's going to play points with you.
He's
So
going to beat you on the card.
Yeah, you should have sat there and played the jab. You got a little bit longer reach. It's not as long as you would really want it to
Try
be for
not
as
to
tall.
get hit.
Yeah, for as
and
tall
hit.
as you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You play the game. And what you went out there and did was just throw these random punches that were awful. And then to see video online from other YouTubers and people that I didn't even realize because I wasn't watching the video of him warming up.
Right.
When he's, hitting mitts with the dude,
He missed him.
He missed so many
He missed
mitts.
him. I did see that.
He missed so many of the mitts, dude. Like, he clearly, as dudes doing simple combos, dude, I've boxed for a little while. I'm not a professional, but I've trained a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're missing simple combos that, like, I could have done, and I'm shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm complete dog shit.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing? Like, you didn't even, the camera's on you. Maybe you were nervous. That whole thing is your first time really, like, you're really up there, dude. This is Mayweather. You're really up there.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting that, like, dude, like, the cameras are rolling and the record would stand. Like, you can go out there and be as loudmouthed as you want to, but, like, you still went down as, like, this was not a good look for you.
So let me ask you this question and see what you have to say on it, because I see the Paul brothers as complete opposites, right? Mm-hmm. Like, one's outlandish. The other one, Logan is outlandish, but he's, like, almost maturing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see him being more like he gave praise to Mayweather after the fight. You know what I'm saying? And, like, he respected his position and where he was.
He's the more mature out of the two.
But
His
it
brother's
almost like seems like, all right, what is the impact of this? That
Right.
Logan Paul goes for the big game right off the bat, does the Mayweather fight with no credentials, doesn't even deserve to be there, really.
Right.
And what does that say about also Logan or
Jake,
who's presumably, I guess, like, taking the actual fighter route?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, building up to something. Does this open up more opportunities for Logan Paul in the future fighting the biggest name, or does it open up more opportunities for Jake Paul, who's coming up? You know what I'm saying? Like, that dynamic.
So
like, how do you see that?
I think it opens up the opportunity for Logan to take it more seriously because now he's hit a big stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now he needs to perform a little more seriously because okay, good, dude. You lasted 8 rounds with Mayweather.
Yeah.
But, like, you're still going to have to go up against other fighters.
Yeah.
You know,
Is he
dudes
creating a career?
Yeah, dudes your size. So, like, a Bernard Hopkins type motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like a bigger dude. You know what I mean?
You're right. He might be getting into this upper class, upper weight class.
Upper weight class, upper echelon. So, like, yeah, you can have that fight with Mayweather, but I don't care how old Mike Tyson is. You're not going to have that same fight with Mike Tyson.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. And people of his guild, that people of that size who are closer to your body size, it's not going to be the same battle. You know what I mean? And Mayweather's a smaller, faster, more elusive hitter where, like, when you're going to be in there with somebody who's pushing the flesh, you know, like a Tyson.
With power.
With power and, like, still, like, scary striking ability, you're in a whole nother battle. And if a person like that decides to snap and go, I'm going to hit him hard this time, even though we're not supposed to knock out.
Yeah.
Like, you have less than an opportunity. So I think it's a little more time for him, and I think it's a little more opportunity for him to take it a little more seriously, where I think this opens up a great opportunity for Jake to troll. As we saw, you know, with the hats
that's his
done,
position. That's his
with
position.
the hats done and talking about he's going to fight Mayweather.
Yeah.
You know, there's an opportunity in 6 months from now for them to raise up enough ducats to get Mayweather to go in there and fight his brother. Just because we all know everybody would watch. We'll talk about it. Everybody will watch him fight Jake too. You know what I mean?
Do you think that they are putting any sort of pressure on Dana White with all this talk about like fighter wages and shit like that? Do you think they are pressing him in any sense? Because I feel like they are.
I think it is.
They're questioning him to a certain extent to where he has to like.
So I think
even his own fighters are starting to do this
I
shit.
think he's doing a good job, and there is some good to the evil, right? You know what I mean? Where he's doing a good job raising the awareness that I've always thought that the UFC fighters were underpaid.
Underpaid, yeah.
And everybody's kind of realized that when we can watch the boxers get so much money, and then you watch, Rampage Jackson back in the day making like dog shit. You know what I mean? We're like, oh, that's cool. He made like 35,000 for this. You know what I mean? They're like, oh wow, he made 100,000. Wow. You know what I mean? Like dude just made like 15 million.
It's almost like that disconnect where it's like, wow, you made 35 grand. Like that's a lot for the layperson, like the average person.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But to a professional fighter, that
for
might
a
not
dude
be
who
shit.
just put his brain on the line.
Yeah,
like
you could die.
He put his brain on the line, dude.
Yeah.
Like he could not talk when this is over.
Concussed. Yeah.
Like giving him barely like this $50,000, $75,000, barely at 100 cap. You're starting to get into that like we know that the UFC is one of the biggest entertainment drawers, so that's kind of weird that they really wouldn't give more money. So he's doing a good job bringing that awareness. I don't know that, and I don't think it's really up to Dana. I think it's more up to ownership, but I don't know if it's enough to curve maybe it'll be enough to give more money to their fighters, but I don't know if it'll be enough to give any credit to the Paul brothers or open up any
something significant.
cross promotion with them.
Yeah.
I still think that there's a good understanding that both of them, like, you can talk all this shit and you can do that when you're fighting ex-fighters or non-fighters and stand-ups in these exhibitions. But I think there's still a pretty clear understanding with Dana White that, like, hey, man, if those brothers got into the octagon,
so you're
that's a different distinction.
so you're ultimately saying like, get fucking serious about it. You want to really do some shit?
Get serious.
Get serious. And be a contender. Don't just be a fucking troll.
Yeah, because that's what Jake Paul's done. Like, he's trolled his way to fights, which is cool. He did the 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent trolled his way. He talked shit to every single rapper and became huge for it. And he trolled his way onto the board.
But most motherfuckers don't step to 50.
Right. And
so you got to be about your shit if you're doing this.
So, and that's that same thing where, like, I don't know if Jake Paul can handle a full body fight like he can do a stand up brawl.
He definitely
You know what I mean? So, like, you're talking all that shit, but, like, if a dude went for a takedown and all those things, I think Dana White's still under just like we all are, under the assumption that, like, yeah, you can keep talking that shit while you're doing stand up brawls and kind of unorthodox expedition. I think I said that right. Yeah, whatever. You know, these kind of small exhibitions. Right. But you're not going to get – it's the UFC's a whole nother thing. Because once do you have a sprawl defense? Once you go down, once you – like the ground and pound – I mean, there's so many different elements that I don't think he's really willing to give them any time of day, because I don't think he feels that they're real contenders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Logan Paul did enough talking and enough this to get him on the stage with Mayweather, but as the beginning of this conversation kind of took off, he didn't perform well doing that.
Right.
His scores, his numbers were abysmal. They were bad. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, you could have performed better. Like, yes, dude, you got to be up. That's like somebody getting to be pulled up on stage and your favorite rapper is going to let you spit a bar, but then your rhymes are whack. Like, yeah, you got a chance to be there, dude, but, like, you didn't perform well. So, like, yeah, you'll get the clout that you will get because you're famous. You know what I mean? Because you're famous, you're going to get the clout that some people are going to give you. But does that make you a respected fighter in a league of fighters?
Yeah.
Like you're
I-
you're an
I-
entertainer.
I totally agree, and I think they're getting very close to a turning point,
Right.
where that this all this shit needs to become real. Like we need to see Jake Paul fight a motherfucker who has the gall.
A real dude.
We need to see Logan Paul fight a motherfucker with his same exact fucking
Yeah.
stature and all that, but maybe with some more
Well, they-
experience and
Yeah.
and see what they do in that sense.
With a
You know
real
what I'm saying?
fighter.
Like I don't want a circus show anymore.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I want some real fucking shit. And if this whole time, like if you put a fucking not an amateur, but like a professional boxer with like 20 wins under his belt, maybe like 3 losses, has like even 17 knockouts, like a
Right.
badass motherfucker. Like I want to see, but I'm even like in my head, I'm like, that's not the game they're playing.
It's not, but I'd
It's
like
not
to
the
see
game.
them take on somebody who's worth their medal, right?
Yes.
Like take on somebody who's worth it, not take on people.
And I think the Tyrone Woodley fight is finally the fight where everyone's like, all right, this fool could get his block knocked off.
Yeah, when we
if
were
he
sending
does
each
this-
other the Tyrone Woodley thing, I was like, okay, now we've got closer to
Right.
like
Yeah.
now we're seeing like, okay, this could be a real threat.
It's a build-up. It
Now-
is.
yeah, we're
and he's
getting a
doing it
build-
smart. I
Like
like
Jake's
that.
done a little bit better, with that kind of thing. And like, okay, you want to talk to him, do it. You know what I mean? Take on that Tyrone Woodley. If you can get past Tyrone Woodley, then maybe you can talk shit to Canelo again and
Yeah.
really take on Canelo.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, I'd like to see it happen.
Oh yeah, that's all that cloud building though. Like
It's just
that's
cloud
just
building.
that's just cloud building on the side, and then I'm gonna fight some little.
But
fucker
I'm going to
here.
tell you, this is the
I
reason
don't,
why
I don't see it not happening though. He's 25
Yeah,
or some shit.
he's got a career.
You know what I'm
We're going to
saying?
be old as fuck,
He
and they're
has
still
all
fighting.
the opportunities and
All the
everything
days
to-
ahead of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like young, they're young, but this was the turning point that I realized that night. When not realized that night, but this is a turning point in my head where I'm like, yeah, you now showed me it's for sure about them. Excuse me, the money.
Yeah.
And there was a statement where Canelo did the whole emoji hand in his face, like, God, this was shameful.
Yeah.
Jake's first comment to him, which we've all seen because it was huge. He says, "You can't even sell a pay-per-view. I would mop the floor or something with you." I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing.
Yeah.
What does his ability to sell a pay-per-view have to do with your ability to fight him in a physical battle?
What's more important?
What's more important?
Like at the end of the day, it's
we're telling
those viewers.
exactly. So we can tell where your importance lies because you started off saying that you cannot sell it. Like you're telling him, I'm more famous than you. Mm-hmm. I can beat you up. But being more famous to somebody does not equate to being able to kick their ass.
Yeah.
As we learned when
At some point, those two realms are gonna meet.
well, Jean-Claude Van Damme got beat up by his own fucking security guard. Like I mean,
Yeah.
there is a point where those two things aren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could be as famous as you want to, bro, but like
Yeah.
there's somebody out there who's a badass who's gonna be a little bit better than you. So if it's gonna be a UFC dude, then you get one of the UFC dudes who is like a good stand-up brawler, who like that was his thing. You know what I mean? If you want to get a good boxer, get a boxer who's like recently retired or somebody who's retired who still has it and put them up against them. Then we really can see what you're made of. But like, yeah, go fight another NFL or NBA dude, or something like that. Like, yeah, that's cool. But you're like, you still didn't beat up a linebacker from the NFL or like some dude from the Canucks who gets his teeth knocked in every week on the ice. Go fight one of those motherfuckers.
I think that's like one of the things that draws me towards this whole shit as it is. You know what I'm saying? Is the fact that you know what I'm saying? Like it's a draw, but it's drawing people in. But
Yeah, it's a
he's
draw.
shaking up the industry. Have you ever been into a point where you're like, I wish I could just get to this point and I'd just be like, all right, yeah, everything's good because I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like all of a sudden, like, yeah, everything's good, but like this wild card just comes in
Boom.
and fucking blindsides you, and you're like, what is this? Like, I did not expect this. That's got to be like where Dana is at, where the whole boxing world is at, and in general is just like this wild card being like disrupting the whole shit. And I think that's my favorite part of this whole thing. I don't even care about the fighting styles, the technique, the skill. I love that he's shaking the shit up.
Well, it's
I think that's what it, for me.
For boxing,
Yeah.
it's really what the industry really needed because it was
Yeah,
already
they
getting
absolutely need
it was
it.
already getting stagnant for
Yeah.
boxing, at least.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question that I was really thinking in my head right now was that, is it going to change the way we now look at exhibition fighting, right? Because we didn't have we didn't have a whole lot of exhibition fighting where there's just like ex celebrities, ex this, ex that, ex fighters, exhibition fighting. These boys could actually, if they were smart, they could say, fuck your mainstream lane. We're going to get with some guys. We've got enough money, and we're going to
building
start
that.
their own promotion with like a Tyson, where it's just exhibition fights between people you want to see them fight, whether it's ex-fighters or NFL or, I mean, look at Ocho Cinco.
I think that will be more respect worthy if they themselves get to a level that is respectable in the sport.
Yeah,
And
I'd
that's
agree.
like for me, that's the thing is like Jake Paul needs to fight a professional and take him out and be like, all right, like you need to solidify yourself as a good fighter
And earn your respect.
You know, even if you've taken 2 or 3 losses, they all take losses.
Right.
Everyone's going to take losses.
Right.
Just because he gets his first loss doesn't mean he's out and down and out.
But you still have to earn that respect.
But like they need to be in this shit for the long game.
Yeah.
Doug. Like and maybe they are. Maybe we don't realize how fucking in it they are.
But that would be would be your best bet.
I think that's what it would take.
That would be your best bet, is to start an exhibition league and get these people to. There's money in it, obviously, and to get these people going and watching different people fight these exhibition what if fights that a league like the WBC and all the other boxing leagues and then the UFC would never do, right? We've been waiting for them to give us matchups that they were just never going to do. Yeah. But now you have an exhibition league where anything can go.
Anything goes, yeah.
So I think that's kind of my thought, and I think that's where we'll leave it off for today. We've been cruising through this one right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a good combo.
Yeah, we're in it deep today.
I want to hear what everyone has to say about this because I feel like there's so many opinions.
Yeah,
I want motherfuckers to tell me what they think too. Because like I feel like we go down the vein where it's like it's a rational vein,
right?
But it's like also like there's so many people out there that are just like, fuck these douchebags.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I
we
hate
like
these
try
dudes.
to dissect it. You know what I'm saying? And I want other people to do that too. You know what I'm saying? Not
your
quit
opinions.
quit looking at the
Exterior
the
douchebag.
exterior douchebagginess of the whole scenario and like really dive into it.
Yeah, try to dissect it and try to get into the mindset of those people, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes these conversations fun because we know they're douchebags, but there's more to it than just that. And the
they're
question
smart.
is,
They're actually pretty smart motherfuckers.
Yeah,
doing what
and
they're
the question
doing.
is,
and they got balls for jumping in that lane.
I mean, huge balls. Nobody's gonna be
like,
able to
would
ever
you
take
do
that
that
away.
shit though? Like, I wouldn't do that shit.
For the money, I might.
Yeah,
I might.
if
I mean,
had
I'm
the-
a
if I
run.
had- if
You
I had
think
the-
Mayweather runs? I'd run, but I'd run. But like, I might have to take them chips, dog. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I might be able to parlay my own fame after that. So, man. So let's call it here, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Now that we're back, and of course we're gonna do this back on our regularly scheduled program. We appreciate y'all hanging in there while we were gone for a little while, and
I'm sorry I had the Rona.
things happen, life happens, but we are back.
I love you.
In full effect,
Keep
man.
listening.
We appreciate y'all listening, and tap in, man. Tap in. Hit me up on IG at Superior Shrek. Get at my boy at
Prolific_Pappy.
and please support his new business.
Please, I'd appreciate it.
And you, again, if you guys are interested in any of that, you can go to
You can go to Etsy and eBay type in my shrooms, MY shrooms, and it's all yours. And I really want to make this thing local. Like I'll give some local prices out to anyone who's interested. Like, let's get this thing going.
Yeah, hit us up, man, and we appreciate you guys listening. So thanks, man, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Peace out.